Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Last weekend I went to the Stirling Flea Market and I can't wait to show you all what I got. So the Stirling Flea Market happens every single year. Now a lot of people confuse flea market with farmer's market. This is a big once-a-year event. It takes up the entire Stirling Fairgrounds. So it's not a farmer's market. A farmer's market happens every weekend, not once a year. This year it happened on April 29th, 30th, and then May 1st. And I went on May 1st, on the Sunday. Now, usually I go by the rule that you probably won't find anything good unless you go on the very first day, but it was absolutely crazy from what I heard, so let me show you what I got. Okay, so right behind me is actually something that I got, but we're gonna save the best for last, and we'll start with this. So I seen this on a table, and I was like, oh, that's interesting. Did that used to be a lamp? Um, he wasn't quite sure what it used to be, but I'm going to use it as a weird vase. I'm going to put flowers in each of the holes, fake flowers, of course. This is completely hollow, and I think this would make a nice, just lush bouquet. I also got this brass pear. It's hollow inside. I thought it was just a brass pear until I grabbed it up and I'm like, oh, it opens. Now, I've already polished it. Later on in the video, you'll get to see what I did to polish it. So I was recently sorting through some stuff, and I was a little stressed because I found this at the bottom of a box, and I used to love it, but if you look here, there's rhinestones missing. I was just going to toss it through the laundry until I realized there's missing rhinestones. But I loved it because it's nice and big inside. And I used to not store makeup in it. I used to store snacks for my purse in it. So like if I ever got hungry, and snacks. And they weren't all over my purse. So I'm going to toss that one because I got a brand new one with no missing rhinestones for 50 cents. And I also got this weekend. This is a meat grinder. It says made in England on it. And it's a little bit of a fixer-upper, but I think it'll work just fine because I had an aunt who used to grind up dog food for her dog, and that's kind of what I want to do for my one cat because I want to start making him his own like wet food. I also got these. They're in an envelope because I had to keep them safe. But these are American war ration books. I got 2 of them, both by the same person, Mary B. Hucks. And there were these inserts. And some of the stamps. I don't want to handle them too much because they're really, really delicate, but here's those ones. And then in this book, there's those. So as a historian, I absolutely love these books. I never in my life thought I would actually get my hands on any. So a while ago, when I was looking up war ration recipes, I just settled for having like a PDF copy of one. But physical copies are way better. I also have this. It is the Maple Leaf Housekeeper book by Anna Lee Scott. I think it's a book from the 60s, judging by the pictures, but there's different how-tos to do stuff, recipes, and I'm really looking forward to using these in some future cooking videos. Oh right, the thing behind me. I will show you that one next, and then after that, I'll show you things that I got in past years at the Stirling Flea Market that are still my favorites. Alright, so it has a clasp on the side here. I'm just gonna pop this open. It's a big case. It's almost as tall as I am, and I am 5'2". I would say this is about a 4-foot tall case. I'm gonna hold it up so you can see some more of these portions. But it's a big case that could probably fit all my sewing spools and then some. And there's some bottom compartments that I should be able to cram some other sewing stuff into. And then it folds up so nicely.
Before we continue, I wanted to show you my trick to polishing up tarnished brass and silver easily without too much elbow grease. Quite frankly, I don't have many uses for ketchup as I don't like it personally, but I do use it for cleaning. You just drizzle it on and then rub it in and leave it for about 10 minutes, and that tarnish should wipe off like it was nothing.
Alright, now for past years. I'm gonna start with a couple of the oldest pieces first that I remember. So there's this ring. I can't get it to focus. There we go. It's nothing special. I think it actually might be Avon. But it's really pretty to me. There is also some more jewelry. A lot of this I got, I think, 3 years ago. Nice bracelet. And it kind of goes with this topaz one. I also have this brooch. And there's this. I got it in like a mishmash of other jewelry, which I can't find. But this is probably one of the only bad experiences that I had at the Stirling Flea Market. You have to be very careful with your money and make sure that you count it. Or in this case, I kind of had to chase the woman down to be like, hey, where's my change? I got, I think it was like just about a grocery bag full of like jewelry making stuff. And she wanted to charge me $20 for it, but I haggled her down to $17. Because one of the joys of going to the Stirling Flea Market is you can haggle and bargain. And why not? So I haggled her down to $17. I gave her a $20 bill. That was a big mistake. I should have had smaller change to give to her, but unfortunately I didn't. And she took off with my $20 bill and didn't come back. And I said to my dad, I was like, ugh, didn't I haggle her down to 17? And she agreed? And he agreed that, yeah, she had agreed. So I tracked her down and I said, hey, where's my change? And she was like, oh, I thought I told you 20. And I'm like, yeah, but we agreed on 17. And she was like, oh, I'm sorry. Give me a minute. I'll get that for you. It was more like 5 or 6 minutes. She came back with my change. That was kind of, I don't know. I didn't feel like it was the greatest experience. Like, I know it was probably only like $3 difference, but we agreed on 17. Then there's this. This one I still have to fix up. It has some like discolored pearls. But usually in this case when they're discolored, I'm not sure if you can, I don't think you can see it. I'll just paint over it with like nail polish. I have off-white nail polish in that color. This, I love this necklace. There's a building on the Stirling Flea Market Fairgrounds that my dad and I never really go into to look at stuff, but there happened to be some vendors in there and this guy was selling vintage jewelry and I thought this was really cool and I had to have it, so I bought it. And this is just one more jewelry piece. I don't think it works, but it does look cool. It's supposed to be like a watch. Then there's this vanity set. I got this mirror. I think it still has the price tag on it. Yeah. I don't really use it besides like decoration. It was $10 for the set. And I remember it had another tag on it that said it was $5, but I ended up getting it for $2. It also came with this comb and this brush. And it sits on top of my jewelry box and looks fabulous. Now, as you've seen probably by the pear and that weird looking vase thing, I love unique looking brass pieces. This is a little brass bathtub. It usually lives on a shelf in my living room, and I fill it with feathers from wild birds that I find. And then a chalice, because I have always wanted a chalice, and just about every year I go to the Stirling Flea Market with something in mind, and I almost always find it. And I go with my dad, and every time he says, "There's no way you'll find that." And I find it. And then I think it's last but not least, this candle holder. I have other brass candle holders, but up until a couple years ago, I didn't have one of the ones with the holder on it. And I love it. As you can see, I use it quite often, this poor candle. But shout out to the Stirling Flea Market for helping me get things I love for very cheap. Now, I did miss one thing, and I don't want to take them off the shelf. I have some beer steins that I thought looked really cool. They live on a shelf in my kitchen, so I will play next a clip of those.
These are the beer steins on the shelf in my kitchen. One of them is missing the lid, and I think at most I may have only paid $5 for all three of them. We don't use them, but they do look fantastic on the top shelf in my kitchen.
Alright folks, that's all. I hope you enjoyed everything I showed you today.